Well, welcome back. It's day 8 on our Wander West 2022 little excursion. After a nice day of rest and good dinner and everything, we got up early and hit the dirt. And we were rewarded by a little bit of mud, but this snow and snow-covered hills. It was cool. It was beautiful. And man, what a ride. Oh, we just thoroughly enjoyed this. Once we were cutting through the mountains, and we saw some wildlife on, quite a ways away. Some of it was on film, but it was just too far away. And we just really dug this road. I mean, we had a blast. I mean, how could you not? This was probably the hardest video that I had to cut up because I just kept watching it going, this is great. I got to put this road in. I got to put this in, this turn, this little canyon. But, you got to cut it up somewhere. So we just, we made stops along the way, and we were just really enjoying this scenery, as you can tell. It was just beautiful. Once the snow dried up, so did the road, and then we were rewarded with very little dust and cruising through the hills, and we just dug it. We were cruising along and coming down out of the hills, and it was so funny because we started crossing the Challis River. Hopefully I said that right. Anyway, this was our first crossing here. We crisscrossed it 2 or 3 times before it ran into the Salmon River, and it was just fantastic. I mean, that water was really deep and really moving. So this first crossing we went across, that truck that you saw there, he kind of got in my way, but he was really in Matt's way. And I went and crossed the river, and I found Matt on the other side, and he said, yeah, he didn't even get to stop, Well, if you remember, this is Matt's Wander West ride. Jeez, I can't even say it. So I told him, hey, we turn around. This is your ride. We do your thing. So we turned around so he could get a couple pictures of the river and his bike and everything. And, we know we weren't coming back this way, so we do it once. So I said, hey, if you want a good picture, now's the time to do it. So that's where we went back on the river. And I thought he wanted a really good picture, so I stopped for it. So we bumbled around the area for a little bit, took the pictures, and just kind of watched the river. It's like watching a fire. You just get mesmerized by it. Hey, my dirty bike on a bridge with water. And there's Matt with his bike on a bridge with water. So we kept on cruising down along the Challis River, and I mean, spectacular views. The term's probably getting pretty old already. I think I've used it about 100 times in every video, but We had a great time. So we finally came up to where the Challis meets the Salmon River, and we kind of scooted across the bridge the first time, but it really threw me for a loop because to my right, the eddy current was going so fast that the water was cresting away from us, and to the left, it was also cresting away from us. Both were going downstream in opposite directions. It was just an optical illusion.
This is going to sound stupid, but I could swear this one was going that way, and this one's going that way. And I was like, what the hell? Okay, I was wrong.
So Matt laughed at me a bit, like anything else is new. Back on the road, we came into Yellow Pine. And this was, I think, the first thing we hit that is actually a part of the BDR route. And we only followed it for a little while. But Yellow Pine was a really cute little town. And I had read on other ride reports of the little diner at the end of the street. And so we thought we'd, sit down and grab a bite to eat. It was really cool little place, though. So we pulled in there and we had a bite to eat. And once again, Matt, the dog whisperer, picked up a new friend. Some lady had her dog there, was being a little unruly. All it needed to do was get near Matt. The dog absolutely settled down and was just Matt's best friend. So we hit back on the road and followed this river down. This lasted for many, many miles, but it was just a perfect road. So we really tacked on the miles this day. We made a lot of stops and everything, but we cleared well over 200 miles, and it was just spectacular. So after cruising down for a while, one of the things that Matt wanted to check out was this dredger. And I wasn't even sure what he was talking about, man. As we ride in, you can see on the left and right those huge piles of rock and everything. And we come up to this dredger that was just ginormous. And I couldn't even believe with the little tiny bit of river that was there that they could even bring this thing in. And it was amazing. We went for a little tour in there. They told us that the dredger, it was so big that they had a whole bunch of men drag out anchors, and they would anchor way down, and then the dredger would pull against the anchor, and that's how the dredger would move up the river. And they said it was so loud that it could be heard for miles away, and people actually lived near this thing, to operate it and everything. It was really a spectacular feat of engineering and everything. And these placards that are coming up, if you pause it, you can see the year that they had it in the early 1900s, and all the history of it. And we ran into the people inside, kind of self-guided tour or whatever, and they told us all about these buckets going down and dredging it up and how much noise it made and the power and everything else. And like I said, this thing was huge. It's hard to compare to a ship, but it was basically a ship. There you can see the cables that would drag the dredger upriver. That's a bucket. That's how big those buckets were. And then inside, it would separate the rock from the gold and all that. And they pulled up some $1.2 million in gold, and before they finally gave up. It was unbelievable. So then we cut up the road, and this is where the people lived, and this was not that far away. That dredger was working 24/7. That's how they make their money. So all these people lived this close, listening to that thing going on day and night for a few years. It was unbelievable. We cruised just outside of town. They had the little graveyard set up, but we cruised back to see it, and not really sure if it was the real graveyard because they had the placard there saying it was, but all the headstones looked like they were more recently carved out of wood, and things were just kind of sitting there, and there was no dead bodies popping up out of the dirt or anything fun like that. So we thought, it's just a touristy thing. So we checked them out a little bit. I don't know why they put this one in there. Obviously small, meaning it was a child, which is, they could have left that out. I'd have been fine with that. But here again, like I said, I don't think these were real graves anyway. So after poking around a bit, we got back on the road, which led us down into a little town of Challis, and it almost looked kind of deserted. There was really nobody, as you see, no cars, no anything. We did a quick stop and tried to find a camping spot. Fortunately for us, we found a camping spot at the hot springs just outside of town. And so we hightailed it out there. We set up our tents out on this big grassy field-like thing they called a tent spot. But we made it in time to put on our trunks and go hang out in the hot springs. And it was kind of fun. They told us that every night they just drain the springs, and every morning they let it refill, and then they pipe in cold water to cool it off because it just got too hot. And it was fun, so it was a nice place, and rested up. And, well, we'll catch you on day 9.